Clifford Ray, one of the greatest bigs in the history of the Golden State Warriors organization, the starting center for the 75 World Championship team. He joins me again. In fact, it was just one segment that we're splitting up into two parts. But in part two, he gets into it in terms of the Cleveland Cavaliers, more specifically Jarrett Allen. Is he available? He's at the top of my wish list. I definitely asked him that. And at the end of the show, Hall of Famer Rick Barry, his teammate on that title-winning team, the finals MVP of that 75 championship squad, he jumps in. It's a fun time. Here's part two with Clifford Ray. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts, including on YouTube. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's one hell of a promo. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Now, here's part two with Clifford Ray. You're currently, I don't know if working is the right word, but you're helping out the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, your acumen among many, subject matters when it comes to being a big in the NBA. I don't know if there's anyone who is at a higher level than you. You were a coach specializing in big players for the Celtics. They won a title. You've won a title yourself as a player. You've been in that role for a lot of other teams, I think for the Nets, among many. Jarrett Allen is a player that I personally love. I don't know if he's available in the trade market, but if he is, I think the Warriors would be foolish to not make a move to get him. In your humble opinion, is he available? And what are your thoughts on Jarrett Allen? And talk about your experience with Cleveland as well, if you want to give them some love.
I think that Jarrett is a tremendous young talent, along with Mobley, Wade. We just
right.
It's a great young team, but
right.
I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to let Jarrett leave unless he's a free agent next year or something. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
And I would be this. Excuse me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I say I would be disappointed if they did, because that would be, when you have something good, where the chemistry, if you would have been in that locker room last night and saw the entire team arm in arm, or with their arms around each other's shoulder in a tight group picture, was simply amazing. And the feeling in the room was nothing but love. And I think that resonates from the coaching staff, Coach Bickerstaff, Buck, all those guys, the guys that are on the staff that work the bench. They're tireless. They do work, awesome work, day in and day out. They prepare these guys, and you can see it in you look at the stats. Number 3 in the league in defense. Last year they were top 5 in defense. Yeah, we did not have a good outing against the New Knicks. That will never happen again. They're a little bit more experienced. But I'm the same way. I love Jarrett just like you do.
And look, the Warriors clearly need size. What are your thoughts? They do. What are your thoughts? Like in your opinion? What is your opinion, I guess, on the fact that the Warriors don't have size? I mean, that was it wasn't by accident. They intentionally designed this roster to the way it is. I've expressed my gripes about it. What are your thoughts about the fact that the Warriors are as diminished?
When you have success doing something, and I don't think that's true that they didn't have bigs. I mean, Bogut was their first acquisition.
Right.
Okay. He came from Milwaukee. And, he was a lot like Ilgauskas. Those guys were great players, but they just had injury problems. It's just like when you go back, you could see certain players. Odom from Ohio, another player, got foot problems. Yao Ming, another player. And a lot of those things that happen, they happen because there are people who don't know what to do so much about. You can't work a big to a point where you create a stress fracture because you're working on a hard surface. So they're still young. It's like they don't run horses until they are over 2 years old because of their bone structure.
Right.
So an athlete has cartilage and bone structure, the whole thing. So as a big guy, I went through all that stuff. So I'm like a walking encyclopedia about how I feel about how you should train a big, the do's and the don'ts. Like my attitude is, if I got a cast on for 6 weeks, then I'm going to put that player in the pool for 6 weeks before I ever put him on the surface.
Smart. That's smart.
And then I send him to the rehab people or the those people or whatever that do whatever, strength and conditioning, all that other stuff. But I just believe that, when I would watch these guys work out players, I would always say, hey, look, okay, if he's going to play a game tonight, maybe you might not want to work him that hard or to shoot around. Just let him get his shots. As soon as he get in that, and you see him, he's in a rhythm, and he's making 5 out of 5 or 8 out of 10. And now you say, okay, that's enough. Let's go. We're ready for the night. Those are the way, I believe I'm a little unorthodox because I have my own method of how I train, and it's not always traditional or whatever they, like I'm not a guy who's sophisticated in my way of talking and trying to go. I always say, if I want to be a genius, go to Harvard or go to Yale or go to Princeton. Basketball is a sport. It's universal. People playing it in the parks all over the world. All you do is to bring, as a coach, you bring everything that you bring, try to simplify it so the players can understand it and grasp it, and then teach them how to play first. Then you can put in any kind of plays you want to put in, any kind of outbound stuff, anything that you want to do once they know the positions to do. That's why I always say, okay, if someone leaves a position, somebody has to fill that other position, that vacant position. It's that simple. If someone overplays you, then you want to go back door. Those are simple things.
No, agree. And Rick says, when Rick and I host shows, we both say the same thing too. Basketball is not that complicated. A lot of people, I feel like, try to make a very simplified game more complex than it needs to be. And I love the fact that you're unorthodox. To me, that's where like growth happens, is trying new things and not doing the same thing everyone else is doing. So if your methods are not traditional, I love it. And clearly the results show. I mean, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who you're working with right now, they've won 8 of their last 10. And I think a lot of these rumors about Jarrett Allen started more toward the beginning of the season when the team was struggling a little more. But right now, your Cavaliers are 4th in the East. They're 10 games above 500. The Jarrett Allen thing, again, I would love him, but what you're saying makes sense. Well, why would Cleveland give him up? Especially
plus, on top of that, you got to understand, you got a coach in Bernie Bickerstaff, BJ. He is, he's a knowledgeable. He's been around the game of basketball since he was a baby with his father.
Right.
And then he has a group of guys that he's comfortable with, that probably been with him. We were all in Houston together, all of us. You know, he done a great job everywhere he's been.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, he get a young team, and they let him roll, and now they can see that he's one of the upcoming young coaches in the game. I always tell him, just keep doing what you do, you know. And he does. He's a very humble young man, and the whole stuff is that way. Nobody is trying to climb the ladder to be whatever. If they have the opportunity to go someplace and be a head coach, I'm sure there are guys on the staff that I think will make great head coaches. And all you do is wait for your time. You know, I never got an opportunity to be a head coach because you don't see that many big guys that get to coach that are head coaches. You know, that just hasn't happened. Bill Russell, you can count them. You know, Bill Russell got a chance to coach. Wilt got a chance to coach, but those guys were superstars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I always feel like that it's a lot harder for a superstar coach to coach a team because you got to have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And if everything has come easy to you because you were a great player, you're going to get frustrated because you have to have patience. Nothing is going to happen overnight.
Yes,
I mean, look at the football situation. The Green Bay Packers, the team that just lost to Detroit. All the young teams that have shown well this year,
mm-hmm.
and they fell short. But they're going to be better next year because of the experience that they got this year. Yes, it's disappointing to lose. It's always going to be disappointing to lose. But growth is about learning and experience. And that's what it's all about. I mean, if you know that I got a good group of guys, why? It's like I was talking to Donovan. I said, this team here, you have probably as better chance to win a championship with than going someplace else to New York or wherever. If you go to New York, you don't know that New York is going to be any better. It could be worse because you haven't played for that team.
Very true. All right, it's time to show some love to the official sports book of the Locked On Podcast Network, and that's FanDuel. Look, we're in the postseason. The 49ers are going to the NFC Championship. I said on this show last week, I am confident that they're going to make the Super Bowl at a minimum. Bet on that. And you can do so with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. Win or lose, you get that $150. That is an incredible promotion. The app is so easy to use. They got live same-game parlays. You can find bets in their new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in their Parlay Hub. Go win some money on the 49ers and enjoy the ride and win while you're on it. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Now here's more with Clifford Ray. And just to let people know your value, I respect your mind tremendously, sir. As a player, and again, I feel like you're grossly underrated when we're talking about that 75 championship team, and you as a player. This stat, and correct me if this is not true. What I'm reading here online is that you're one of only a handful of players who have played at least 10 seasons in the NBA, and you grabbed more rebounds then you scored points. And when you look at the list of players that are in this select group that you're a part of, Nate Thurman, Bill Russell, Wes Unseld, Dennis Rodman, Dikembe Mutombo, and Ben Wallace, and you. That's the group who have played 10 plus years, who have grabbed more rebounds than they've scored points. And what I see with all these players are individuals who are elite defenders. Obviously, the rebounding part of it, but there's just there has to be a toughness there, right? And I just feel like you're grossly underrated when we talk about the grand scheme of the NBA. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Happy birthday. I hope you celebrate. And one more time, your book is called Big Clifford Ray Saves the Day. If people can just follow you on Instagram, your link is right there. It's at Big Clifford Ray _44. Anything else you want to promote, discuss before we call it a wrap?
I just want to see the Warriors get things, back in order, which they will. Yep. My hat goes, prayers go out to the family of the young man. But he left a legacy because he did a great job with the team, and he was really loved by the guys. Because, if guys know when you're in the fight with them. They know, it's just like when I look at my crew, and I always, I laugh, they call me grandpa. And it's funny, but, when you say something to them, when I talk to them about something, they stop and they sit there and they go, "Thank you very much." I was talking to Larry Nance's son today. He got in the game, and he was so excited when he got in the game. He was going about 90 miles an hour, and I said, "Just slow down just a little bit," and just watching them when things work for them. It's not that I always tell people, I'm not that great. It's just that they allow me to teach them. It's not anything. It's just like the coaching staff on our coaching staff and the coaching staff on the Warriors. They all in it together. Mm-hmm. They see each other more than they see their wives and children. And so if you have a great chemistry, which is one of the most important elements, chemistry and love of one another is the two most important, underrated things about the sport. You have to have those before you can ever win a championship.
Wholeheartedly agree. And it doesn't surprise me, sir, that you're No, and it doesn't surprise me that you're a part of the Cavaliers and their chemistry right now is thriving and they're thriving. I feel like Fowler's ever in charge.
Well, they're thriving because of that great staff we got. We got a great staff over here. I'll just come up and show up and I don't feel like that, I just am glad to be around them. I'm glad that they allow me.
They're smart enough to let you around them. I give them credit for that. So even just for that, bravo. They're smart enough to let you be around, sir.
I put it like this. I'm a big fan of the coaching staff, just like I'm a big fan of my team. And that's what it's so rare to get a good coaching staff where everybody is in sync. Trust me. I've been on a lot of teams. I coached Dallas Mavericks. I coached the Golden State Warriors. I coached with Dave Cowens, and I coached with all kinds of different people. Butch Beard. I coached, Jimmy Lyman. I coached with, just I could go on and on. Guys that I was able to coach with, and Keith Smart, who came from Indiana University. And I remember, I'll tell you, this is a great story. You'll love this story. So I'm in the CBA, and the G League was then the CBA. Okay, right. So Fort Wayne was one of the teams, and they had never made the playoffs. So we had, there was 2 or 3 owners, Jay Fry, Denny Sutton, and Parker Agency, the guy who owned agency that had a lot of football players. And they owned the team. Those 4 guys owned the Fort Wayne Fury. And so something happened. I don't remember what happened. And so I wound up being the interim coach. And we made the playoffs first time in the history of that team. And so at the end of after the thing was over, this Matt Parker, I was in his office and he said, Coach, he said, you did a great job, coaching the team and everything. He said, but I just don't know if Indiana is ready for a black coach, Fort Wayne in particular. And so I said, well, Matt, they got to get ready. So here's what you need to do. I said, this is a good way. I go, I don't care about being a head coach. It makes no difference to me. But there's a young man named Keith Smart who went to IU. He hit a shot to win the NCAA. Those people will love him for life. So you know what? Why don't you make him the head coach? Now you get yourself past that whole thing about the black and white issue. And that's what he did. They hired Keith Smart, and I worked with Keith Smart. And Keith Smart and I've been friends from that point on for the rest of our lives. I just got off the phone with him about 5-10 minutes before I called you.
What's he up to?
He coaches in college at Arkansas. Okay.
Yeah, he was a former head coach of the Warriors and the Kings, I think.
He's coaching with Eric Musselman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I think Rick Barry also coached the Fort Wayne Fury.
Well, that's how I became the interim coach. Gotcha. Because they got a little sideways about whatever, and then B got, because you know how they lost so many games, and then they just said they wanted to make a change or whatever happened, and so they weren't going to hire a coach because they didn't have the money to be paying another big name coach. So they made me the interim coach, and we didn't lose no more games.
Something tells me
the playoffs.
I feel like if someone wrote a book about the Fort Wayne Fury, that would be one hell of a book. I'd read it. You tell me. I feel like there's a lot of stories from that time.
My teammate and I have had Rick Barry and I have had a great journey because we coached a lot of the minor league. We coached in Fort Wayne and we coached the Sea Dragons in New Jersey and got to meet all of the New Jersey actors and, Bruce Springsteen, all these people. Then we went down to coach another team down in Fort Myers. And, we've had a lot of fun. I never could understand why, as brilliant a mind, basketball mind, as Rick Barry is, how he did not get an opportunity to coach a team in the league. And I always feel like that. I think a lot of it had to do with, just the fact that he's a very outspoken man, and people take it in the wrong way. And I always tell people this. I say, go to Roselle Park, and there's nobody in Roselle Park or New Jersey that don't have an edge. Okay.
Well, you say the same thing. I wonder about Saginaw, Michigan, right? Someone coming out of there as well. I mean,
right. I would like the Detroit, like the mentality of the Detroit people.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. No,
I mean, everybody has a certain a city like Boston, the Bostonians. When I was in Boston, my team, one of my teammates who was Robert Parrish, and he was a young player coming on that got drafted by the Warriors, wound up getting traded for JoJo White and left, and they teamed him up with Kevin McHale, Larry Bird. I never forget getting a phone call from Red Auerbach, and he asked me, he said, "What do you think about this young guy?" And I said, the best thing that could ever happen to him is that he gets to Boston. And I said, put him with those 3 guys and you guys are going to win some championships. And they did.
Yes, they did.
And that's the same thing when the Warriors had the guys that they had when Cuz and who else was on that team? The young kid. We got another young kid over here that was with that team with Durant and Kevin Durant and all those guys. He's on the Celtics. I mean, he's on the Cleveland Cavaliers. 6'10". He's
let me look at the roster real fast so I can tell you who you're. Because I know Ty Jerome was on. Oh, Damian Jones. Damian Jones.
Yeah. Yep. Just a great young man. Now he would be, to me, a great asset for the Warriors because he's just like Looney. He don't need the ball to score. He's just going to play hard. And he can rebound.
Look who's joining us last minute, by the way. Look who's here. Yeah. Do you see him, Clifford?
What's happening, yo?
Hey, Rick. Folks, you've heard me talk about PrizePicks. They are a provider of absolute fun. If you're all about daily fantasy made easy, PrizePicks is legal in California because they're considered daily fantasy sports, where instead of betting on teams, you're betting on individuals. More specifically, minimum of 2 players, a maximum of 6 players, and it's all about betting on whether or not you think a player is going to, let's say, score or more or less than 29.5 points. That's usually the line they give Steph and Curry. Maybe you want to bet on a rebounding figure. Maybe you think Draymond Green is going to grab more than the 7.5 rebounds that they list for the line on a particular night. Maybe you want to bet on football and you think Brock Purdy is going to throw more than 2.5 touchdown passes next week. Whatever you feel like betting on with individuals, that is the premise for PrizePicks. It's super fun. I've said this before. I'll say it again and again. DM me on Instagram at DogWild. I'll give you my picks. When I first started repping PrizePicks as a sponsor of Locked On Warriors, they gave every host a smidge of money just so we can try it out for ourselves and see if we like it. I've never once had to put a deposit in thanks to that initial payment they gave me. And if you want pick my brain, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not Nostradamus, but I love playing PrizePicks. And I fortunately feel comfortable enough where I'll share that love, the knowledge, of what I'm betting on. Because if you follow basketball religiously like I do, it can be that easy for you. And again, it's super fun. It's a time in my life when it comes to sports gambling. It's legal here in California. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. One more time, go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. For the everydayers, Kylan Mills will join me soon. Stay tuned. Follow me on Threads. More specifically, follow the program on Threads at Locked On Warriors. That is where we make all of our announcements pertaining to upcoming guests, showtimes. I know on the schedule, the Warriors have had a nice long break here. They're back in action Wednesday against the Atlanta Hawks. So at a bare minimum, you can follow us and join the program Wednesday night, since we host a post-game show after every game. So at a minimum, tune in then. But if you follow us on Threads at Locked On Warriors, you can also follow me on Threads at DogWild. We'll keep you posted on upcoming guests and so forth. Now, here is one final segment, not just with Clifford Ray, but also with Hall of Famer Rick Barry.
How you doing? What's going on, man?
Well, unfortunately,
how are you? Where are you?
I'm in Indianapolis, actually, freezing my ass off, but I have to get some oral surgery done by a friend of mine who's a dentist here before I go back to Florida. So, hi, Cyrus. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Great to have you. But are you're in a hotel room as well?
I'm at a friend's house. Clifford Ray saves the day.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were just talking about you.
Yeah. Well, he let me know. I was trying to say hello for you. I'm gonna actually see you coming up here soon next month.
Yeah, he's you actually supposed to come in on the 20. We're supposed to have dinner on the 23rd, right?
Well, we're going to the function. You're getting honored into that into his Hall of Fame for in Oakland. And so and then I'm staying over. I'm going to the game the next day on Sunday, the Rockets game. The Nuggets game, I mean, with hopefully Canyon.
Oh, okay. Canyon. But you're gonna be in Florida next. I mean, the 23rd, right?
I'll be in Florida until I go there in February. So but I don't know what's happening. See if I go to the All-Star. I don't know why they call it the All-Star game. I wish the hell they would do the series. Just call it the All-Star exhibition because it's not a game anymore.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to turn it around, but you're absolutely right.
See what I'm talking about?
Rick, you and Clifford, you're both going to be at the Warriors game in late February. Is that the event you were talking about earlier, Clifford?
He made me. I'm doing something at Rick's Sports Bar out in San Leandro on Friday.
Yes.
Game Friday night, and I think Clifford's going to be at that game, and then we're going to be together on the Saturday for the function that they're having. Arif Khatib is having his Hall of Fame thing. I think I'm actually maybe getting the Kurt Flood inaugural award. So on that Saturday at the Oakland Marriott, and then Sunday going to go to the Nuggets game, hopefully with my son Scooter and either his wife Ruby or my grandson. So looking forward to that. You staying over that Nuggets game, yo?
Yeah. I got a couple of things to do. I got a book signing on the 26th at the History Museum there in Oakland.
And you'll be there the 25th
of
the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be there on the 24th, actually.
Well, the 24th is when the function is, that the award thing. And the 25th.
Oh, yeah, they play the Nuggets the 25th. Yeah.
Yeah, play the Nuggets the 25th. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, whenever. I'm going to be there a day early, a couple of days early, because I have something to do, too. I have an event to do there.
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost Rick. Well, the visual.
Yeah, we did.
No, I'm here. I just pushed the damn phone fell out of my freaking.
Gentlemen, let's get this all. Oh, we didn't. And now we just lost Rick altogether. Clifford, I think that was actually a good time. Thank you so much, sir. I can't thank you enough. Again, one more time for the audience. The book is called "A Big Clifford Ray Saves the Day." Follow Clifford Ray on Instagram to get that link.
bookbaby.com. You can order the book from bookbaby.com.
Rick's back. Hold on, let me.
I'm back.
I
just dropped the damn phone. It's tough when you get old.
It's all good. It's all good, sir. I love it. Well, let's collaborate next month if that sounds good with you, gentlemen. We'll do it for the Rick Barry show next time.
Okay.
How does that sound, Rick? Sound good to you?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I missed Clifford on my fishing trip to the Amazon. He was going to try to go, but the doctor didn't want him to go down there. Clifford, the guys were killing it, man. They were catching huge peacock bass. Everybody was catching big fish. I only caught a 7.5 pounder, but it was some species that only gets up to about 10. So it was a pretty good catch, but I never did get bigger ones. But I caught the last day. I probably got like over 70 peacock bass myself. It was crazy.
Yeah.
70. Jesus.
Yeah, he had a great time. And maybe next year I'll be able to go.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, come on. We're talking about stuff here. I mean, you're talking to him today. Today is Clifford Ray's birthday. You know that,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I was made aware.
I'm not going to sing happy birthday and ruin his day. So, and we're going out to dinner on Tuesday down in Orlando with Clifford and
about 9 other people.
Well, yeah. Hopefully they make a reservation, including because I invited Brad and his wife Amy to go. Brad, he introduced me to Brad Cole.
Oh, we got a big thing. You're going to get to meet Sam. He's the fisherman, and he's one of these guys that got to run. He got to run that thing. So Sam is gonna. He got us going some really nice steak place, and
It sounded like it was like a freaking Mexican place, but it's not. It's just a famous steak place there. But the thing is, hey, here's the thing, Cyrus. So I introduced him to a good friend of mine who built if everybody's been to Cabo, the famous place down there is called the Giggling Marlin Restaurant that turns into a nightclub at night. And my friend hand built this thing over 35 years ago, and the president of Mexico gave him citizenship down there. He's very famous. He's known as Goyo down there. His real name is Gary. And I call him Henny because he's got the craziest sense of humor, like Henny Youngman, the comedian. But anyway, so I introduced him and everything. It's like they adopted Clifford. Every time I turn around, Clifford's over there down in Mexico to go fishing with him. He's coming down to his house on the weekend. Tomorrow, I guess, I'm going to be at dinner. So it's amazing. You know the show Everybody Loves Raymond? No, it should be Everybody Loves Clifford.
Everybody loves Clifford. Rick, I was going to say you introduced me to Clifford. Rick, I would seize any opportunity to hang out with him in a heartbeat. If I had a restaurant, Clifford, I'd invite you in a second. Let me tell you something.
If thank God I have the greatest wife ever. My wife Lynn is amazing. Clifford knows that as well. And so, but the thing is, if I wasn't married and Lynn wasn't around and everything, Clifford and I could do a new remake of the Odd Couple. We could do a reality show. Hanging with
podcast at a minimum, right?
With Cliff and Rick. Let me tell you something. When we go out and we go fishing and everything, people crack up and everything because we really are like Oscar and Felix. He's a great cook, but he's a slob. So I got to clean up after him all the freaking time. And we have such a great time. We really do have such a great time together. I mean, he's he's one of my dearest friends ever. I'm so blessed to have him in my life. And we just had a great time together. And hopefully we've got many years left to experience some more fun things together.
I love it.
Yeah,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. My teammate wants to live till he's 100, so he always says we got a lot of years together, Clifford.
That's right. I want to be able to play pickleball and go fly fishing when I'm 100.
I know
if anyone's going to do it, Clifford.
And if anybody can make it, it'll be him.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do it, yeah,
well,
exactly.
I want to do that because I'll be able to piss off a lot more people in a longer period of time.
Oh, God.
I'm going to end the show on that note. We're on a high note. Let's wrap it up there, gentlemen. I love you. So I'll see both of you at that Nuggets game. I'll get a credential and join you folks. Rick, thank you for joining us last minute.
Very quickly though, did Clifford?
Please.
I know you got to go because you're growing up. But Clifford, did you get the Warriors plans straightened out? I know we're going to be off in a minute, right?
Did I get them straightened out?
Yeah, did you give them all the tell them what they need to do? I'm telling you, I don't like what's going on.
No, we kind of touched about he likes Jarrett, and I told him there was no way that Cleveland was giving up Jarrett. Because
Rick, you and I we'll do a show soon. We'll cover the nuance. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
We gotta do that soon. It's been too long. Yeah, let's do that soon. You just got back from Brazil for your incredible fishing trip. You two have gone to Alaska how many times together to fish up there?
Oh, we can't even count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll see you Tuesday night at dinner.
Okay, boo. I love you.
I love you too. You two are legends who are never appreciated enough. Thank you, gentlemen. Happy birthday, Clifford. Rick, I love you. I love you both. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.